everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the AI Dev series. Today we have here today with us João Salvado from
Hello.
Microsoft. Hello, João. Nice seeing you again.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, it's the second time that João is here with us. The first time was talking about the OpenAI vision services from Azure. And what will you bring us today, João?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here again. Really excited to have the opportunity to talk with you about Azure AI document intelligence and how you can use it to leverage the documents that you have.
Okay. So today's session will be about document intelligence. But again, if you are interested, check on our YouTube channel. You will see the other episodes of this series. The first one, again, was with João. I think you will like it. It was a really nice session.
Really good discussion, that one.
It was a good one. It was a good one. So let's hope this one is even the same or even better.
Yes.
So, João, if you want to start, maybe talk about the services that you have.
I will. So today we're going to talk about document intelligence and what you can use with the Azure AI document intelligence to process the documents. So we will be talking about the power of this service and how you can integrate this with your large language model. We will talk about how you can use this to process, invoices that you have, documents using robotic process automation, RPA. So we're going to talk a bit about everything. And I think that in the end, as in the last session, we will have a great demo to showcase the power of this. So that's the main idea, that you understand what you can use the service for, and then how you can integrate in an OutSystems to leverage the service.
So the goal is to clearly understand how to handle the paperwork.
Yeah, the paperwork, yeah. So we don't want to have someone, when they have to go manual and enter the values and check if it's a 0, if it's a 1, if it's a 10, 11, whatever, and having to do that manually. So we want to bring the power of this service to automate those processes for you. So that's the main goal of today's sessions, to explain that thing. And when we think about process automation work and the workflow that we have, usually we can split this in three phases. So the first of all, you need to ingest, you need to grab all the documents that you have. And then when you have all these documents, ideally, what you will do is that you will going to extract the things in those documents that you want to use. Usually you have some fields that are important for you that you need to extract the exact value with the exact field so that you can bring to another process so that it will then process that document. One thing that you can also do is that when you extract that information that you have in documents, you can enrich that information. That's when you can bring power of things like Azure OpenAI to the game, and then you can enrich and bring even more value on top of the things that you already extracted from the documents. With these computer visions workloads that we have, I think that the great thing about it is the accuracy that you can get. You know how important, and I think that we talk about that in our last session when we talk about GPT for vision, the importance of the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. It's kind of big, when you're talking about numbers.
just a tiny little bit.
A tiny little difference. So it's important that you have a service that that can help you with that kind of problems, and at the same time, if you have a service that can run in the cloud, that's great, and that's what we can bring here, but we can also run on edge. There are some scenarios when you need to have these things as close as possible as where the data is created, and you cannot afford to go to the cloud, and we are also able to run this type of service on the edge in a containerized way. So that's also a point that I would say that it's important in some scenarios.
Yes. In a lot of cases, the data cannot leave the premises. Okay, makes sense.
And yeah, that's one scenario that we have here. As I was saying, for me, the primarily reason where we are really bringing here value, it's the precision, the accuracy that we have. And when we are talking about this precision and accuracy, we are talking about not only machine text, like generate text, like we are seeing here, but also and the handwriting test. And I will tell you, I have a really bad handwriting. And I've already tested this with my own handwriting, and it's even capable of recognizing my handwriting. You know, usually I still write like that A and that B, like primary school.
Cursive, right?
Yeah. But still, I see that it can detect that. So it's really simple to use. You don't need to be training a model from scratch in here. Even though here you can do some customization on your models, and we will also talk about that, because that's a good feature, that you can bring your own documents that have never been seen before, with specific fields that you want to take the value from, specific labels, and I will show you how you can customize that.
Okay, it's good that you said that, because one of the things that I was thinking while we were hearing you is that, and you probably heard this, but my business is unique, right?
Yeah.
What I do here is there's no one else that has a form like this, or.
Yeah. You know that I've never met a business that was not unique.
Right.
That's more the thing that you usually, because every time, okay, that works there, but for me, in my case, I have this, and then you go to another customer or a client and you talk and you see that the pattern is the same. So yeah, and we understand that, and there are a lot of things that are common. I say, if you look to your driver license, right, in Portugal, they will look the same, or your ID, it will look the same. So you can have already a pre-trained model for certain type of documents that you can leverage that type of pre-trained model, but then there will be some things that are specific from your business, some documents that are specific that you need to extract the fields to start a process with the robot process automation, to do some deliverables that you need. And yeah, in that case, then you will
need a specific
model with a specific extra step. And when we look to the document intelligence and the OCR, as a whole, there's a lot of things. There's the image text extraction that you have, the document extraction. One thing that is super important, it's like the layout. You are able here to extract the layout of document and understand the section A and the section B. And in some cases, it's important to recognize not only what is written in the document, but the sections itself.
Where it's written.
Yeah, where it's written in the document. You can see section A, section B, and yeah, that's a point that's it's super important. As I said before, here in the document intelligence, then you can add some service on top of this. You can work with the Azure OpenAI to bring more value to your data. In the end of the session, I will also talk a bit about one thing that we just launched last week in our build event, that it's going to be in public preview really soon, that it's bringing together the power of document intelligence and the power of Gen AI for recognizing the document intelligence. But I will let that for the end, but just to put the lights in the air about that topic. So this is some scenario that we see a lot applying the document intelligence. Probably you can also think about some other scenarios where this can be good. One for me that is my favorite, it's the robotic process automation. So when you extract and you have people that are manually entering data, looking to data, and then starting some process after having those documents, so that's something that we can optimize, right? You can have something to extract the info from the documents and then have an application that can start the process and do all the stuff. You may have someone in the field just with a mobile phone taking a picture of the form, and then the process starts, and then you will see some applications, some analytics that can happen on the top of that. And that's
so the goal there is to reduce the tedious process from people, and probably make them do things that require their mind and not just doing things that a robot can do, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's be honest, no one wants to by looking at the document and trying to find a specific field just to enter that field and type that in the computer, right? What we really want is to bring value to people and allow people to do things that have a bigger impact. So with this type of tool, we are empowering people to be capable of achieving more things. Another scenario that I will also talk here that it's super important, it's bringing together the power of RAG and the power of the large language model.
Okay,
So
okay.
with the document intelligence, you have the ability to extract all that information, but then probably you will need some application that will try to search that information in the documents, and that's when you bring here the AI search to the game, and I will also talk about a bit that as well. So usually the workflow as a whole, you have the document ingestion, you have the digitalization, then you have the classification depending on the type of the document itself. You will extract all that information, and then you will do a post-processing. You will extract some actions on top of that. One possible architecture could be something like this, where you have the digital documents, you have printed and faxed documents, you have some documents that you already scan.
You said fax documents, right?
Fax documents.
Just for me to make sure you're saying. Okay, got it.
Maybe not the thing that it's more used, but we need to talk about every level of people that you will have. You need to put that in some storage. Could be, for example, an ADLS Azure storage account, and then you will have the option of either using the type of models that are already trained, and you can use that out of the box, or you can train your own, like in a really simple way. It's not, you do not need to be like a super data scientist to do that, and that's also something nice about the solution, having the ability to do that. But this is a pad, and we see that as a pad. You do not start like having all the robot process automation as an end game and everything in place in the first day after seeing this presentation. I'm not expecting that, because that's a pad. Usually start with people doing manual things, then you start doing some detection, then you start doing processing of the forms, and then you start doing file classification, enriching your data, and then making your business more fluid with this type of automation. So it's a path, but this digitizing of documents, it's something that is super important.
Okay, that's rather interesting, because we have been discussing this in another session, that the key to success usually is to do it step by step and not trying a solution that is way too complex to deal. And so I think that's pretty much aligned with this kind of project.
Absolutely. You need to take baby steps. It's not easy to do like a super big step and have everything. Maybe you can start with some process that you know that you have a lot of people that are doing manual steps, and they can start test in one of the workflows and see how this works, and then starting with another area and then when you will see you have a business that is way more optimized, and you will not have people entering manual details of all the things. So this is just to give some examples on where this can be applied. So health records is one example. So I have here one example where it was applied during the COVID times. You can use this for banking documents. Banking always have a lot of documents. When you want to have a loan, you need to go there, and
usually everything is in written to be stored.
And a lot of documents that need to process, and then they need to send that information to the central and all that things, and that's a use case where this could have a lot of value. Also invoice, there are a lot of times where we need to submit expenses, or we have a lot. Maybe it will be good to have even more, right? And we have the claims that you need to process. For example, in insurance is one example of that, like healthcare accidents, when you have the cards and everything else, or government forms that you also have, and those are good use cases. Do you see also another use case where this could also be a good implementation?
You're talking about government. I have to say that we are on the text phase, right?
Yeah.
So that was the first thing.
Yeah.
But I think we can see, we have some demo here prepared. I think we will see something about that.
Yeah, demo will be good to showcase also the power of that. So just an example, similar with the architecture that we saw before. You have all the documents, you extract this key value pairs, and then with that extract key value pairs, you can index that information that will allow you later to see that value. So this is just an example of one application, just to showcase here a demo where you can run the analysis. In the end, it's using here the document intelligence API, and it's running the analysis. And when you run this type of analysis, it will see all the fields, it will get the form itself, and then you can grab these values that are here and you can process. You even have one thing that it's nice, that it's the confidence, depending on the field that you are talking. Maybe you need a bit more confidence than the others, and that's kind of the time where you need to use this type of solution. So another example, it's also the claim and automation overview, but in the end, if you want me to be honest, it's kind of similar architecture, right? You have the data, then you submit the data here in this tool, and then you will have all the values that you can index, and after having this index, you can search with your applications. So this is also an example of the labeling. Labeling, it's an important part of this, because as I was saying, you can customize this a bit. Maybe there are some fields that you specifically need to associate with the label, and you go and say, okay, when I talk about the agency name, this is what I'm talking about. Contoso Company Enterprise, probably everyone knows this famous company. Yes. At least in Microsoft, everyone knows for sure, because it's the name of the company that we use.
Exactly.
We use in all the demos, you know. So
and the database, was it Northwind?
Northwinds. I will not tell you how many Northwinds I have created in Azure.
I can only imagine.
A lot of that, yes.
But yeah, so this is actually the use case that you're talking when you need. So my case is a specific one, right? So I need to go there and label in this image. This is what I'm looking for in the places where I know things will appear. That's the use case.
That's the use case. And with this, you can customize a bit of things, because as you already told me, and I know for sure, your business is unique. So that's what we want to do. And then you do the training. Training is something that usually is super fast, doing with this type of forms, and then you get your model. Your model is deployed, and you can use that model in a way out of the box, really simple. And another thing that it's also nice, it's the composer. The composer basically allows you to have multiple models that you train, and you bring those models together, and then based on the input that you have, maybe it's an invoice, it's more A or more B, it goes to the left or to the right and decides for you that. So that's also something that is useful when you try to bring the
already step 2 of the baby steps.
Yeah.
To start
so this is not the baby step, but then you start adding one, another, and then you start testing, and you see, maybe I'm going to another step, and that's when it comes to the point. This is just to give an example that it's really nice. It's on the NHS, and they had like 54 million prescriptions per month, where 56% of this paper required manual entry. So that's a case where they applied this type of solution and allowed them to accelerate and do not have to do this type of things, which is something really nice,
The advantage of this is always scale, right? Because it's way faster to scale this than to scale on manual assessment to anything.
Absolutely, right? And when you have something that is helping you on this type of process, then you have more free time. I don't want to say more free time, but you have time to do impact on other things, and you can even use that information that usually you just were typing in a computer, and you can start thinking, okay, what can I do with this data? What can I achieve? And I really believe that's the next step when we look to this type of things. And the really nice thing about this is it can really extract text from a lot of things. So as I was saying here, it's like more normal documents, but here you see that it's like a guide on some type of the machine that I do not understand exactly. And you have financial highlights, things about social distancing.
Infographics, things like that.
Yeah, graphics. And we can even go to another level. You can put an invoice on paper and then throw up. And even like that, it can extract like the information that you have in there, or even in a tire itself. So a lot of use cases. And this is an handwritten text. It's, to be honest, it's not mine. Mine, it's way worse.
Yeah.
But you can see
not
that,
mine also.
Yeah?
No, that one's way better than mine. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God that we are not going to do the demo with our handwriting. At least we know that we are closing to get success. So, as an whole, we already talked a bit about this. You prepare training documents if you need.
So I'm seeing there, sorry, just PDF, so images or PDF?
Yeah,
okay.
These are some of the examples of type of documents that are supported. As I say, with text and handwritten supported as well. You grab all these documents, you upload. In this case, we are uploading here in a storage account. You do our label, you do the training, and then you have your model that is deployed and that you can use. And that's exactly what we are going to see the demo. So I'm super excited to see our working demo here, making all this possible, you know. And then another thing, it's the compose models that I was saying here, just to see more detail. We have the 1040 model applied and 1099, and depending on the type of document, you know, it will go right or left on what makes more sense. And what I really want to also bring here to this conversation, because I think that it's super important and super actual in the day that we are talking, it's the RAG and the retrieval augmented generation. I think that we already talked a bit about this in our last session. Usually you have an application and the user asks a question, and when you ask that question, you have an orchestrator that eventually, if you don't want to include your data, could ask directly to your large language model. That could be one Azure OpenAI GPT-4o. It was not available the last time that you talked, but now it's already available. So you can go and try that one. But if you have retrieval systems, that's when you need to include here with the Azure AI search. Okay, so you can have here the Azure AI search, and you have here the form recognizer, the Azure AI document intelligence, that you get that information and you index that information in AI search. What is the goal here? What you can really do is that you can ask questions specific about the documents.
Right. So I can use. So I can use, what you're telling me is that I can use the information that I've got handwritten in the document being processed and then being answered by an LLM, like if I was talking to the form.
Exactly. That's really the point, you know. And it will be based, the response, it will be based on your data and not just the general knowledge, let's say, about the LLM.
That was trained with the LLM.
Yeah. And that's really a point of this. But what we also bring here in AI search that is nice is that we are bringing the hybrid of the search. So you can have keyword search, you can have vector search. Vector search is super important when you have questions like this example. It's nice. Looking for lessons on underwater activities, and then you do a search for scuba classes or snorkeling group sessions. Of course, we know that they are related, but if
we are still humans. Sometimes it doesn't look like we are still humans, right?
We're still humans. But that's kind of the use case when you need to combine these things. You need to combine the keyword. You need to combine also the vector search. And one thing that I also wanted to bring here that is super important is that the number of documents provided, it's not always the best solution to have a bigger accuracy, because it can also confuse things a bit. So what we are trying to bring here, it's a bit of everything. You can have the keyword, you can have the vector, you can have an hybrid search, and you can even have a re-ranking of the scores on top of the hybrid search. And what we are trying to bring here, it's having better results, right? So you want to index the information the best way possible. So for that, you use the document intelligence to extract everything, and you do that in the best way possible. And then you want to index that information, and you want to be able to do the best search possible. And we combine all the things together. So in the end, if you look to the keyword compared with just the vector search from the model, and then the hybrid, it's a bit more, and then the hybrid re-ranking, it's
So the goal, right, is in data and finding the right data, because now we have so much amount of data that finding the small piece of data that you need to get your answers, that's the 72 there that you get.
That's the 72, and I invite everyone to try this out. It's super nice to try this hybrid and re-ranking and changing from one to another. usually it's super easy, so it's nice, and I'm super excited to see all the things that we can achieve with this type of technology. Another thing is that if you look at the system as a whole, okay, and here I'm just showing all the system, you have down the document intelligence, and the document intelligence is what you use to get the data, and then you put that data in this AI search, and then from the AI search you can use multiple models, you can use Azure OpenAI models, you can use Llama models, you can use whatever models, large language models you prefer. You can use large language, but you can also use small language models in this. And you can have a lot of things for doing the orchestration. You can use semantic kernel, AI Studio, Llama Index. A lot of things are possible to use with this in the center. So just to ramp up, because I know that we have already said a lot of things, and we also want to see here the demos. In the end, with the model in the document intelligence, you can extract content, you can extract key value pairs, you can use a lot of pre-built models, right? It's nice. You already said that we are doing the tags now and could be useful. Maybe there are some pre-built documents that you can already use. With this, you also have the document classification, the extraction of the fields, and this is just an example to show how good it can be. This is an example of the LangChain itself, and then the semantic kernel and the Azure document intelligence, that it's a bit more, so you can see that it's already detecting here like the title and the sections itself, where here it's detecting everything, and sometimes it's important for you, as I said, to detect what is exactly part of the structure. And you see here that when you have a custom document chunking, so this is custom for your business, you can detect exactly all the things, what they represent and where they are in the structure. And that's also it's super useful as well. And why? I don't know if already someone put that question, but is something that I will see that could come. Okay, but I have the Azure OpenAI vision, the vision model that could also be used. And the challenge that we see when we try to use that is, imagine that you have a document and you have 10 fields that you want to get from that document, because you will need them for a robotic process automation to do. When you start to increase the number of fields that you need to extract, you will see that your prompt and complexity, it will also increase a lot.
Right.
It's not that it cannot be done in some way, because you can extract the fields using the vision.
I can imagine just one more, and
then you adapt the prompt, and you see that it can start getting inconsistent results. So it can be difficult to get there, and the confidence could also be not so nice. So that's why we are bringing this document intelligence, and what we are bringing, and I'm super excited to share this, that we just announced. I will answer the questions. That we announced in a build is the capability of having generative AI with the document intelligence. What we are really bringing here is that you can create a project where you were extracting things from the document. So let's look at this example. You can say that you want to add a field, and you describe the field itself.
Oh, okay.
So you say that you want to get the reason for approval or something like that, and then you describe exactly what is that in that document. I think that here we can see that in the demo. So you come here, you add a new field, and you say here in the field, okay, patient name, and then you describe exactly what is the patient name.
Okay.
Because it could be that in the document it's not exactly
there's
written
not a label with that
with
name,
patient name, you know,
name,
and with the power of generative AI combined with the document intelligence, you describe what is the patient name, and then it will look to the info, and with that it will help you to detect this component. So this is something that we just announced. It should be in public preview during the summer.
Oh, I was going to say maybe next time we talk, right? 4.0.
Yeah, no, maybe,
but maybe it's near.
Okay. I don't know. We were going to talk next time in the summer.
Maybe you can get me a sneak peek.
So maybe next time, yes. Maybe next time. So I just put here the scan of.
But it's very, very interesting to see how things are start getting combined, and all all the pieces start fitting together. That's
everything bringing
really
together and having the ability to extract the best of all the worlds. I think that it's super nice. So I think that we also have here some questions that maybe we can get the time before starting with super nice
maybe
demos.
we can look at it. So okay, so there's a question here, right, that is asking what you're showing, if this is something absolutely new or if it is Form Recognizer, the service that is called Form Recognizer.
Yeah, so the document intelligence was a bit of a rebranding from the Form Recognizer. We are adding features on top of that, like this one that I described, but if you want to see, it's kind of the same thing as we had in Form Recognizer,
So another question is, can I try these features in my personal area? Well, you can, because then I'll show how to do it. Also, if you have an Azure account, there's some tiers that are free, and you can use it. I know there are always, since it's free, of course, limitations.
Yeah, there are limitations. But you should give it a try.
Yeah,
it's even better than listen to me.
Exactly. And what I'm doing here in the demo is using one of those free tiers. What I'll be doing.
Yeah. So why don't you show us how can we really apply this in practice? I think again that it's way better than listen just to me describing what you can.
Now you've shown what we can do. I got inspired with what I had previously seen. I have to admit, and I'll show what we can do with that with the Azure AI document intelligence and with OutSystems. So I have a couple of slides here. Okay. Just to give a quick intro to what we're going to see, but I'll try to jump to the code as fast as possible. So we're going to talk about the Azure AI Document Intelligence, the connector setup, and the hands-on. We'll see the hands-on demo. So it will be available. Actually, it was supposed to be available now as we are speaking, but it will only be released in the end of today. Okay, this component. Okay. I want to highlight three actions that we have on the component. So one is to analyze an invoice, where you send that. So this is a specific use case of documents, right? Invoices. We are going to send the invoice, the URL or a file, and we will get the result of the analysis of that invoice. In that one, we will use a pre-built model. That's the invoice.
Okay, so maybe our business is not so unique.
No, it's not. Actually, just trying. It's not. So now this is the synchronous one, where you send the invoice and you'll get the file and you'll get the results. But we also have the process, because when it's more complex, we send a request.
Okay.
And in the request we get an ID. And then we can query for that result depending on that based on that ID.
Yeah. And then with that's when you can start doing.
And then with that result, that's what I'm going to do next with the data that I got from the service. So the analyze invoice, we have the file or the file URL. So it's the binary data or the URL to a storage. In this case, one needs to be filled, of course, and we will get on the result an information that if that analysis is already processed, okay, because it can take some time, so we need to know. We will get the request ID, and if we have already been processed with success, we will have the invoice result. Now, when we have this asynchronous, like I was saying, we send the file or the file URL, and we will receive just the request URL. This request URL, this output parameter of this action will be the input parameter of the get invoice analysis. And in here we'll get the information if it is already processed or if the invoice we already get the result. Now, in terms of the results, so there's a lot of data, like you were showing, there's a lot of data that is being retrieved. Yeah. So we got the status of the process that is actually analyzing your invoice. We have the created date time in terms of when it was submitted, the last updated date of the status of that analysis. and then the result. Now in the result, we have also, again, more information. We have the API version, so we know what API version was used. We'll get the model ID to be aware on our side what was the model that was used. This is string indexed type, so it's the way that is being used to identify because all the text, where the text is in the document, and then the content. So we can get all of the content all together in just one variable, all the document that all the information that you have in an invoice in this case. So this could be helpful or not, but it's here depend on your use case. And then we have the content or format, if it is markdown or if it is text. But now more interesting is that we get chunks of information like classified like pages.
Yeah.
We get the information that's inside tables. We have the information about the styles that are being used. And then we get documents. In this case, we get the document type, the confidence that you were saying, really important for us to understand if we should use that value or not, right?
Could be some scenarios where you want to double check in some way.
Yes. So actually, there's a very good case for the manual intervention, like is then when the confidence is below a certain threshold.
Could be that, yeah.
Makes more sense to have people looking at those than looking at everything. And then the fields. And the fields, in this case, for the invoices, we have the amount of the invoice, the tax ID, the date, the total. So we will see this all in action, but all of this information comes from this invoice analysis. Now, for the setup, and I'm going like this because I want to jump to the demo. There is two things we need to configure. Okay, it's the subscription key. So it's a key. It's the API key that when you create the service in the Azure portal, you'll get the create those keys, and the endpoint for consuming the services on Azure. So the way to find this, when you create one service, one of these services, on the keys and endpoint, you will get the keys. So the subscription key can be found here, and on the consumed REST API, the endpoint is this one that is being also displayed in the same place in the Azure portal. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is what we need to do. I've already configured this, so we are not losing time doing this. So let's go for the demo. Okay.
My favorite part, finally.
So you're gonna see me here doing some code, but before I start coding, let me explain what's the goal, right? So what we have already is an application, okay? It's the expense manager. So it's where I could be storing, my expenses from the month. I have different categories like groceries, restaurants, and shopping. So, but it's a very simple use case. I think you know what I'm talking about. So
yeah, but it's good for know all your expenses and where you can go.
Yes. So I got here my application. Okay, if you can see by the icon.
Yeah, it's flying away.
It's almost never the other way around, right? So let me just show real quick what we have. So this is already built. So you got your expense. You just click on this icon. You define what's the category, groceries, and then you need to you get the invoice when you go shopping, and you see.
And you do the manual stuff that I was just saying.
I think that you're probably seeing where I'm trying to get, right? So my idea was to use document intelligence here to get a photo of my invoice and capturing that data to show here. Okay.
That will be amazing. Yeah.
Let's see how we can do that. So first things first, we need to get. We need to go here to the. We're on our home. On our own. Now there's this new expense page. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add here, an icon so we can get our a picture to our invoice. Okay. And I'm gonna link this to a new action. So when I click, this is what I'm going to run. Okay.
Okay.
So first things first. I'm gonna take getting the picture. Okay. I'm gonna use this action of the plugin for the camera that we have, and I want to process that image, okay? So just for us to be seeing what we're doing, let me just add here a local variable that will store the picture data.
Picture itself.
Okay, and let me just drag and drop here. and just had it here. Okay, oops, where did that go? I just went down here. Let me just put here. Okay, so I want to see our image when I take the photo. Okay, so here we go. So I'm taking this. So I'm gonna set my picture. Okay, with the data that I got from the camera, and with this I'm going to process this using. So let me get here the Azure Intelligence Connector. Let me select everything so I don't miss anything, and I'm going to use the analyze invoice, right? The one that is,
which is the thing that you were describing.
The ones that I was describing, right? And I have the file because I have the binary here, so I could have stored it somewhere, but I'll just use this one, and I'll get the information that's on the picture, and I should get that answer, right? Now, what I want to do is I have this expense here, and I want to fill this information with the information that comes from it.
Those are the fields that you will need to add
Yes.
for the application, so that you can see, as you were seeing the other expenses that you already had there, the Pingo Doce and the
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, for my invoice ID, okay, I'm going to get, so from the invoice results that I was showing, we have the result, and then we have the documents. We'll get, it's going to be one invoice, one document. Then I will have the fields, and we will have the invoice ID. And we'll get the value, okay? So let me just copy this. Now, we need the invoice ID. The date, it was mapped by the platform. I didn't do anything.
Okay, nice.
Okay, so it's more easy for me. Now I'm mapping the total, right? So I want to get the invoice total, the currency, and I'll get the amount.
Okay, great.
Okay. Now I'll have the tax ID. So I want to have the vendor tax ID. I'm doing this because, you know, in the end of the year, I need to go and validate all of my invoices.
Make sure that everything is...
Yeah, it's correct. So I'm using that. So on the fields here, I need to have the vendor name. Okay, I want the vendor name on this one, value string, and the type, I have the expense. So with all of this information, this should be filled because it's bind here to the form, right? So we should be able to see it. Now, this can take a little bit, so I'm gonna always not letting my end user not knowing what's happening. So in this case, the end user, it's me, so I can avoid me to be, you know, touching, waiting for some feedback. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna put here a list updating. Okay, so we can see the, you know, the little spinner.
That it's...
Yeah, I'm just gonna have here also a message saying, for example, AI, Azure, right? Azure, AI, document.
We hope that it will be so fast that we will not
You're
see
right.
that.
Intelligence, it's working. Let's just bold this, you know, just having a little bit here. Now let's just enclose this here in a container. Let's just put some space so this can breathe. Margin top base. And one of the things that I want to do is I'm going to create a error control variable that is processing, you know, and I want to say that this container will be available when it is processing. This means that when I click, I'm going to get my image, I'm going to get the picture.
You get the
so
picture.
Before, I'm going to say that is processing to true, which means that I will be showing the loading. And when it ends, right, I'm just
change that, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that, that it's processing. It's actually false, means that I'll be hiding the loading. So let's just double check. I'll click, it will open. I'll get the picture. I'll show the picture in the screen. I'll show the loading. I'm gonna require for the service to get my invoice, and then I will send. Okay, so let's just publish this. And let's see what happens. So it shouldn't take long to publish. We just need to refresh our application after this. Start feeling some pressure. Let's see, it's already, okay, it's done. So let's just refresh this, right? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try this. So yesterday was Sunday, right? So I went in the morning to do some shopping at my local grocery store that a lot of people in Portugal will recognize the name. So I got here my invoice, okay?
And we will probably know.
Yes, it's from Continente, and you will know what I bought actually now that I think about it. And it's processed, and actually we have, so the name Continente, we have the total, that's 38.85, 26th of May, yesterday, and we got the invoice number and the vendor tax ID.
And it was fast.
So if I click this on the create, well, I got here now my my own invoice, right?
Super fast. I think that you took like 10 minutes to add that capability on top of your application, which is super nice.
I know I had this a little bit practiced, I know, but in fact, it's not that hard, right? Now, one of the things that I really liked in what you're saying is, like you said, to be able to extract insights. I think it was to
extract insights from this.
And I think we can do something here, because I was checking here the Intelligence Studio, right? And here is a visual way, right, to see what I was doing. We can do that in an OutSystems application, but in here, this playground is already built, so we can check. So if we see when we run this and we're analyzing using this pre-built model of the invoices, actually this was the first thing I tried here before I started
to understand what you could do.
Yeah, if I could
and makes sense. That's what usually people do.
I could understand what is the capability of this model. So it found the name, it found all of this information, and more important, it gets all the items that I have here. Now, if I go here to the content on the tables, I can see the information that I have. I know that not everyone is Portuguese speaking people here, but so this is actually the categories where these products are part of. So for example, this is mango, and it is fruits and vegetables, okay? So
and you have that section,
right, and I have all of this, like you said, the importance to get the information from the right places. So I have this information. So what I was thinking is, and you're also using a little bit of the power here of Azure OpenAI, it's to have a clear vision in terms, I think, visual of what kind of stuff I'm buying.
Yeah, that will be amazing to see.
Let's try to do that. So what I'm going to do, it's actually I want to show a pie chart or a donut chart where I'm going to see what kind of things that I'm doing with my money.
Yeah.
So let's head here, let's head here a donut chart, okay?
Okay.
Let's put here right in the, we can put in the end, okay? So this needs a data source, okay? And let's build that data source with the information that we already got. So my idea is to ask, or use OpenAI to get this information, okay? So one of the things that I want to do is, so I'm going to use OpenAI, right? Let me just, I will use the chat completion, okay? And the messages, I'm just going to create a real simple message saying that I am the user. And what I want is something like this. So I'm going to say the context that I have, right, is on, so the total amount on my invoice is, and I can get that from here, right? I can come here again, invoice
and you
result.
Can bring all the things together.
Yeah, and I can get all of this information. So I can get from the document, I can get the current, the field. I have here the, where is that? Invoice total, right? And I have the amount. Okay, so this is what was my total. Then I want to say that also my invoice items, we can say are. And then I need to add some invoice here. Now, what I want the action, right, is return, right, the percentage of each category, for example. We can say from 0 to 1, right? To be then we can multiply it by 100 in the format. So it's a a prompt engineer technique of setting the
You're doing great.
the result, right? I want an array, right, of objects that has its category, and for an example, let's give an example, cat1, and then we can have, you know, the percentage and 0.1, and let's just do another, so the model, we can help the, you know, the model
that's
understand.
the few shot that we already.
Yeah, so this is cat2. Let's hope it doesn't return all cats,
Yeah.
saying that I just bought cats.
Yeah.
So let's do something like this. And okay, so now we still need, you know, to get the lines here. So I'll just do that very quick because I have that information here from this analysis, right? So that is inside the table. So what I'm going to do is for each, right? On the, you know, on the response that we got, we have a section here, right? That is the tables, and the tables will have cells, right? So I'm going to go through all the cells, okay? And the cell has also the information that's inside the cell, but it has also the row index. So what I want to do is add some lines, just what we saw, I'm going to put it, you know, all in lines. So let me add here the lines, right? And let me add the current index. Okay, and current index is an int, okay? That's cool. So I'm going to just assign real quick the lines, okay? So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna start concatenating this. So this is the lines plus what I've got from my my cells, right? So I'm gonna get table, current, cell, current, and the content, okay? Now, what I want to do is, if we're breaking the line, I also want to break the line. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to just check if the, on my cell, right, if the cell current, so if the row index is bigger than my current index, okay? If it is bigger, I'm going to add new line. If not, I'm just going to add a space, right? So I can concatenate and then breaking into different lines, okay? So I got this, and well, one last thing, let me just copy paste here because I'm a little bit lazy. And also I need to check my current index, right? I need to change it when I break the line. So let's say if this happens, right, the new index will be this one, and or I'm still in the current one. Okay. Oops, I don't know where I broke this. Where did I do?
Comma, no.
The comma, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so it's, it should be long in integer. Let's correct here. It's going to be long integer. Okay, cool. So now we got our lines, okay? And I'm going to add them here. So, and my voice lines are lines, and let's just add a new line. Okay, so now I've got the total amount. I'm going to send the lines, and I'm going to say return the percentage. Okay, so everything goes right. What I need to do next is to get my data, you know, to be as the source of my chart, right?
For the chart, yeah.
So I'm going to just create here a structure. I'm going to say JSON because it's going to be faster if I do like this. Remember, it was category. Was it category or categories? Let's check.
Better check.
Yes, better double check. It's category. Okay. So it's category, right? I was doing here. Okay. Category, right? cat1. And the other was percentage. And let's put here so it's okay. And let's say like chart point. It's almost. Sorry. So I created this, right? This structure because what I will need to do right now is I need to come here and I'm going to create my chart points, right? And these chart points will be the input parameter that we need on our chart. Okay. I'm going to get my chart points. Okay, I'm going to say the value is going to be the percentage, and the label will be the category. Okay. Now I just need to link all of this together. So I get this from OpenAI. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deserialize because it should be returned in a string, right? So I'm going to take what is coming from my get chat completion, the choices, the current, the message, the content, right? So I will get that, and the type will be a list of chart points. Okay. So this should be able, to get to that answer and deserialize it. And after deserialize it, let's just set the variable here to the chart points will just be this, right? Okay, and this is it. Let's see. My heart is beating faster. Yeah, I know this was done in record time, but let's see. Let's see if we can do that. Okay.
I think we will see.
Yes, let's hopefully.
You bought a lot of fruits, or?
Yes. Let's see what I'm buying, right? So let's just refresh this so we can get the latest version. I'm just gonna get the same invoice, right? And it's already processing. It's processing, and well, actually we have here the information. Let me just add a little bit so we don't all get. So we have actually the orange one. It's fruits and vegetables. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not that bad.
Congrats
right?
on everything that you just did here, like super amazing. How you've included the document intelligence with OpenAI, but also congratulations on
shopping
that you did.
I did this on purpose. I just went to, I never eat vegetables. I just went there to buy just for this
just
demo.
for the demo.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to show. I know we have a couple of questions here. So how can I get the Azure Doc Intelligence connector from Forge? Like I was saying, so it will be uploaded until the end of today. So you can use this. You just need also to have your Azure account and create the service in the Azure portal. Well, I don't know if there are any probably more questions. I have some interesting information that I want to share with you in the end, but one of the things that I wanted to know is, do you think this is it's a way like you can connect different services? What do you think it's the kind of solutions that we can have?
You just show that. You just show how you started with a simple application, and with that simple application you had to introduce and type manually all the details, right? And then you add something super fast using the document intelligence, where you could extract that information automatically, and you even add on top of that Azure OpenAI to give you some details and to do the chart on top of that.
I was saying your process, and I was,
so you clearly described exactly how you can integrate all these services together and how you can achieve more with less. So congratulations on your demo.
Thanks.
I really loved it. I think
it was a good demo also. So. Well, I don't think we have more questions. I think we can wrap this up, okay?
Yep.
So, just for everyone to know, so we will host more sessions, okay, on AI with Microsoft and with AWS in June, okay? So stay tuned. We had a sequence of 3 now. We will have more in June. So remember that for those who want to participate in the upcoming Build for the Future hackathon, these AI skills are really important for you, because the topic of the hackathon is it's AI, so this hackathon will be happening in September, and the registrations will be open real soon. So keep your eyes on our communication channels, and if you are interested, this is a really good opportunity to be able to help an organization that probably would appreciate your help and use all of these AI services and practice a little bit with this.
I'm super excited to see what everyone is going to build on top of these technologies. So thank you, everyone.
Yes, I will, for sure, we will see solutions that are completely original and out of the box. So once again, João, thank you very much for coming here. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
And let's continue.
I love the coffee here, so.
Exactly. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day. Stay tuned.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.